Listen back. She gave me the nod of approval, and I was on cloud. That should have been my parenting high of the week, to be fair. Fuck the free cake. Yeah. I was right with my facts.
You were right for once.
Do you mean for once? Hey?
Well, you know what I mean.
Hell, it's like having a conversation with Becky here.
Oh, hi, I'm Matt. I'm a 30-something with a 4-year-old stepdaughter and a newborn baby.
And I'm Daniel. I'm a 30-something, and I've had kids for a while, ranging from toddlers to teens.
Well, it is that time of week again. Hello and welcome to Sherry and Shawl. No, welcome to Ramblings of Dadmen. Thanks for listening again, as always. I'm Matt and joined by Dan. How are you doing, Shawl?
I'm all right, Sherry. There could be our new weekend names.
They could, yeah. I'm very happy with Sherry, to be perfectly honest with you. So let's put a bit of context into this. So the theme of the day is, I guess, getting old. When did you finally become old? And we were talking about this just before we hit record, and it's a good thing that you can't see us, that I've got a nice little tumbler of sherry on the go, and my friend Daniel is wrapped around with a shawl.
Yeah, because it's fucking cold.
It is. But yeah, I guess that's going to be the theme of the episode.
Yeah.
When did we become our dads? Or not so much our dads, really, because I don't think our dads would be very proud of us if we talked about that. But
my dad's never sat there in a blanket because he's cold. Do you know what, though? I genuinely had a moment. This wasn't the moment when I turned old, but I had a moment of realization that I was old. And this was a couple of years back where I sort of stopped myself mid-conversation with one of the kids where I was just saying something to him, and I realised that was something my dad used to say. And then from that moment onwards, I've just fully embraced it and just become him. And just I'm quoting Peter Kay jokes left, right and centre, telling people it looks like Blackpool illuminations in our house when all the lights are on, telling people put wood in hall. So, yeah, I've known it for a few years now.
I've come to terms with it for a couple of years, that I've been starting to getting older. I'm fine with it, but I can slowly see myself, turning into, literally in the last 12 months, I've turned into a dad, but I've always had a bit of a dadness going on. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever seen a video about second puberty. Have you ever watched the video? It's like what happens to your body when you turn 30.
No.
I'll put a link in the description this week. But yeah, it's just quite funny because it is literally so true. Second puberty.
What the fuck is that like? Does your other testicle drop? What happens there?
Well, I mean, it's when your nipples start to drop. To be perfectly honest with you, you get more hairs in more places that you don't want. Such as, have you had to deal with the ear hairs yet?
No.
Oh God, what about unruly eyebrows?
No.
Oh, you've been right. My friend.
I know. I'm older than you. What the fuck?
I know, yeah.
I mean, I do get nose hairs, right? They piss me off. Like, they itch. And why am I admitting this out loud? I just pull them out. So
the main thing, the thing that ages me on my face so much, I'm fine with a little bit of grey in my beard. I feel that's distinguished. But after a couple of weeks, my eyebrows become really, really unruly. I will just be at work. I'd be at work at the laptop and I'll try and pull them out. But then Becky will notice them and she'll be like, yeah, I need to put them tonight. She will pluck them and honestly, I don't know how women do it. It's so fucking painful. So she's literally plucking my eyebrows out one by one. I'm in tears and agony thinking this is the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And she's just laughing, saying I'm a soft bastard. So,
I could safely say I've never had my eyebrows plucked, and you've not sold it to me. I don't want it to happen. You know, you used to get told when you were growing up, when you start shaving, it grows back thicker.
Yeah.
Maybe the fact that you are plucking them and doing all that shit and shaving them, that's encouraging the growth.
You could be right, yeah, but I think everything just looks a bit more unruly once you get older. True, is it? Everything starts to sag. My eyebrows are no different. How has your week been, my friend?
To be honest, I've had a really busy week this week. I say I have. There's just been a lot going on. Like, start of the week last week, there were nephew's birthday, and then George's friend came round for tea or dinner, depending which part of the country you're from. Tea if you're up north, dinner if you don't want to think that she's coming round here for tea and crumpets.
It's funny that that's an argument that we have in our household quite a lot, because obviously Flossie spends half the time with a paternal side of the family who are Londoners. So I always say, what's for dinner or what's for tea? But Flossie always reminds me that dinner is an evening meal. I'm like, you're wrong.
When you're at school, does the dinner bell go? Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. So yeah, but that's been a thing. Beck's been out. Me and Beck have been out with one of her brothers and his wife at 663 in Inley Green.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
And then today, just done a bit of shopping around Wigan, which will lead later into my high-success/funny kid moment of the week. So I will get to that one. So yeah, no, it's been a really busy week, to be fair, and I think we've got another busy week coming up. What about you?
We've had a quiet week. We've had the health visitor come round again. Oh, God, this fucking health visitor. So this health visitor was half an hour late again, which is fine. But remember me talking about this doctor who basically said this person was useless. Not my words. I just want to make that quite clear, that this person is doing their job to their best ability. You know, the red book that you get, and it like plots the lines of the development, it shows what kind of centile and what growth line it had. It comes to something when Becky has to change that.
Oh, God.
After they've been. She's £9.2 now, so she is putting on weight. She's starting to, get a bit of chubbiness in her cheeks. I don't know how else to describe it. Although she is still under the third. She's on the second centile still. And I mean, she eats fucking 20 hours a day. She's never off the boob or a bottle at the minute. But, she seems to be growing fine and she seems to be healthy, which is...
You're just jealous that she gets more boob action than you.
Oh, well, you wait until my parenting high of the week.
I don't think we can earn that.
It'll be fine. So Flossie, has had a bit of trouble in school this week. She's fallen out with one of her friends. That friend has, I won't say hit out at her, but they've had a bit of an altercation. And Flossie's actually been, she's not had a good experience, but she was actually really trying to help, and that was the feedback of the teacher. She was being a good friend to them, and why that's upset Flossie. It's actually showed her that she's actually being a nice person. She's got good morals about her, and so that was a nice thing. And then I've took a couple of days off work. I had Friday off work, and I've got a couple of days off coming up this week. Just decided to pop into my old workplace just to show the baby off.
I know what, I've got a day off one job. I'll just go back to my other job.
It was kind of something like that, yeah. I popped in. It was nice to see everybody. I got offered another job. They were like, why didn't you come back and work for us again, please?
No, there's a reason I left.
Yeah, because I love the people that work there, but it does take over your life sometimes, and it's very much a 24-hour commitment. Nice. So we showed off the baby. That was nice. Comments where she's beautiful, but she stinks because she always is farting. There's no other word to she's never not farting.
100% gets that from you.
Maybe. But yeah, so we've had a bit of a quiet weekend. We can the rain hasn't really helped. We didn't really factor in for it being so rainy, to be honest. A trip out to Asda is about as exciting as we got.
Nice.
Yeah. Hit me with your parenting high.
I'm going to rebadge this technically as a parenting high, but also as a parenting success this week.
Okay.
So, picture this. We've been shopping. Georgia was whinging a little bit, which I suppose you could loosely count as a low. Usual. My feet are tired. We've been out 5 minutes. She said, I want to get a drink. So me and Beck said, why don't we get a coffee? We've got everything we need to get. So we went into Cafe Nero, ordered a coffee, ordered Georgia hot chocolate, and then Beck went, should we get a cake as well? Let's push both out. So George is eyeing up this counter, and she spotted these cupcakes. So she looks at me, she went, I want one of them cupcakes there. I'm like, okay, all right. No idea how much they are, but fine. So I said to the girl making the coffee, just a couple of cakes as well, please, and ordered what Beck wanted. And can I get one of those cupcakes? And she had this just bemused look on her face, like, we don't sell cupcakes. I went, no, you do. You've got some in the counter there that I can see them there. The sheer embarrassment on this woman's face. She went, oh, I'm really sorry. No, one of the staffs brought them in. Oh, they're actually just for us. They're just staff cakes. They're not for sale.
Wow.
I was like, oh, right, okay. Georgia, do you just want to pick something else? But this woman, so she felt really terrible. She said, oh, I'm so sorry. I've left them at perfect eye level for kids as well. So I'm really sorry. I said, tell you what, you could just have mine. I'm like, no, I said, I couldn't do that. She said, we just get her a gingerbread man or something like that. Said, no, honestly. I said, I feel bad now that she's seen them and we've set her expectations. I said, you can have it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay. I mean, you can't charge me for it, so that's a win.
I mean, the moral of the story is don't leave cakes on eye level with kids, right? I feel like that's a fucking schoolboy era. Don't they have like a staff room or a fridge somewhere else? Like,
well, yeah, it was in the fridge, but at the front of the shop. So I was thinking, well, it's fair game. So yeah, that was technically it was the parenting high.
Well, my parenting high and parenting low, I guess, are very much connected. So one day this week, it was bliss. By 9:15, all babies were fed, all adults were fed, all babies were asleep, and all adults had been perfectly seen to. We'll leave that at there. like everyone was relaxed.
In about 9 months' time.
Oh Christ, no. Although, like, we have had conversations, and Becky's like, I think I could do a third. I really do. I think I'm warming to the idea. Like, no, not yet.
She's cock teasing you. I like it, and you're standing firm. Okay.
Yeah, and like after last week where she slapped me around the face and told me no, stay strong. Like, yeah, it's just hard. So yeah, we just had a really good day where you feel like you're boss parenting. You've got everyone in bed, you've got everyone doing the right routine, and for about 2.5 hours it was like blissful in terms of everyone was quiet. We actually had a bit of time together, and yeah, parenting low is every other night. Like, if you take one little win to have 6 really bad days, I guess. We don't know what's been wrong with Robin this week. She's not slept throughout the night. I think for 2 or 3 days on the bounce, she was just on Becky's boob for all night, really. Becky had 3 nights in a row where she didn't have any sleep. So obviously I've picked up the daytime, but with work and, other stuff as well, it's just meant that Becky's had it quite hard. And yeah, it's just been a bit of a difficult few days. Nothing that you can't do, but I think at one point we were getting on each other's nerves just because lack of sleep, I guess. Still no argument though, but definitely a few bickers. Definitely a bicker or two.
Okay.
Becky's just quite good at telling me to fuck off, and I know where to go.
You know what though? That's when you're comfortable in a relationship, that you can tell each other to fuck off, and the other person's not going to get so upset that they start crying.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
I mean, I got the tissues out. Like,
they were already out for another reason, right?
Yeah, they were already used. Yeah.
Well, on a slightly funnier funny kid moment of the week, I've got a good one. Well, I say good one. It was more a bit of a blow to Beck. I was just sat there working, and Beck was making George's tea, and I just heard the conversation, and I just started pissing myself, laughing to myself. She went, Mummy, you make your chips better than McDonald's. And I just thought, great. I mean, what a compliment there, right? So when you get your next job,
Wow.
like what the fuck? When you get your next job, like when you retire, you can be a kook because you're that good.
Wow.
I think that's classed as high praise, but I just thought, like, what the fuck? How do kids sort of process like careers and that she thinks like quit everything and go and make chips at McDonald's?
There's always like fine connotations between chef and cook, isn't there as well? Like she's not going to be a chef, she's going to be a cook.
She's going to be a chip chef.
Yeah.
She's going to make the best chips in the world, but she's got to retire first, and then she can go and unretire to go pursue a career in making chips.
In fairness, if your Becky's anything like my Becky, I don't think she'll want to retire. Anyway, she'll retire for about 3 days and then want to go making chips anyway.
But there you go. Maybe George has already foreseen the future.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you'll retire and then you'll unretire and then
I don't want to spend
chips
7 days with Daddy. All the times.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to spend 7 days with me. You know?
Well, our parenting, what do we call this section?
Funny kid moment.
Funny things kids do. Boxing Day sales, turn of the year. I bought some jeans from a well-known site, and I pressed the wrong button, and I got some jeans that were far too big for me. Let's say they were fine on the waist, but honestly, a small family could have lived in them. They were that big in the leg. So I talked about this the other day where my mum came around and did some cleaning and then decided to throw the returns bag away. So I'm stuck with the things. So I thought, right, okay, well, I did textiles at school. I could hem these. That's fine. Becky was upstairs with the kids trying to get Flossie to bed. And I quickly just hemmed these jeans together and put them on. I thought, oh, these look okay. Put them on, went upstairs. Flossie looked at me and I swear to God, hysterically just started pissing herself. She just looked at me and laughed at me and said, those jeans are funny. I'm like, what's wrong with them? And she couldn't stop laughing. She was just like, those jeans, they're funny. They're the funniest thing I've ever seen. Needless to say, they were binned. And we've honestly never seen her laugh that much over me wearing a pair of jeans.
That speaks volumes for your textiles ability.
Exactly, right?
Have you got a sewing machine?
I do have a sewing machine, yeah.
Fuck. Okay, why is that not the topic here? Why is that? that's
another reason why we're old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're old as piss when you realise you need a sewing machine to go and badly sew some jeans.
I mean, these are all things that you need to do these days. It's all about everything getting more expensive. You think about rehashing old clothes or doing something or going to... Oh, God, I am old, I know.
I think you've just had the moment of realisation.
I think at this point it's a good time to give a bit of a shout out to our good old friend Mr. Chris Kelly for commenting and reminding us about our age on Facebook today.
Thank you very much. It's not even like he's mid-20s, you know? He's mid-30s as well. Fucking arsehole.
So, Chris, if anyone that you saw, there was a bit of an internet exchange where one of our friends decided to remind us that we are old.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Christopher.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Christopher James Arthur Kelly. We'll get a message now just to clarify that isn't his name, but it won't see the light of day. Unlucky, Chris.
Yeah.
On the topic of reminding us of things we've done wrong, I've got no Podmin.
I don't think I have, or do I? I feel like I might have had some Podmin, but I might have forgot it.
Oh, there you go then. It's not Podmin as such, more of a clarification, an unpodmin. I sort of outed myself last week as talking about the first occasion where we left Georgia, and I would maybe clarify and get a Podmin for it because it might not have been.
Were you right?
I was fucking bang on.
Oh, wow.
Listen back, she gave me the nod of approval, and I was on cloud. That should have been my parenting high of the week, to be fair.
Yeah,
Fuck the free cake. I was right with my facts.
You were right for once.
Do you mean for once? Hey?
Well, you know what I mean.
Hell, it's like having a conversation with Becky here.
Oh,
Some recommendations.
I've got none.
I have.
Okay.
You're a fan of, educating your Becky with some of the older films because obviously she's, a bit younger.
Yeah.
So I was flicking back through the catalogue, the DVD catalogue that I've got, and stumbled across an absolute banger from 1993. And I've not seen this film for a long time. It was...
Oh, I'm pretty sure there was some classics coming out then.
Oh, was there?
Was it an action film?
It was an action film starring...
Was it on a plane?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It was starring Jean-Claude Van Damme himself, directed by John Woo. It was Hard Target.
Oh, no, I would have never guessed that. For some strange reason in my head, before you even said Jean-Claude Van Damme, I thought you were going to say Con Air.
No, I watched that recently. That was more like 96?
Oh, was it?
97?
Yeah.
97 it was, yeah. So I watched that, but I've not seen it for a long time. And after I watched it, I realised, for good reason, why I've not watched it for such a long fucking time. The acting is awful.
Really?
The script just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, there's a guy randomly living out in the middle of nowhere, and it just turns out to be his uncle.
Wow.
The action scenes were just... He had infinite bullets. He's definitely been using the cheat codes. He's got a handgun that fires, 8-10 bullets. One scene, he shot at least 25 shots with those guns. Like, he wasn't even being critical with the amount of bullets he was using, like conservative. Like, it was in a fight scene. There's 20 guys against him. He had 2 handguns. You'd think, right, I've got 20 bullets. Let's just one for each of the guys, maybe. No. Stumbles across one guy, lays 15 bullets into the dude.
Wow.
In a real world scenario, you'd be fucking dead. What are you doing? Yeah.
I remember going through a bit of a phase where I was trying to watch really bad films, and I had a bit of a group date, I guess, for want of a better word, where me and a couple of friends watched the worst films we could have watched, and one of them was Samurai Cop. Have you ever watched that film?
I've never watched it. I've seen the adverts for it. No.
It's some homework. It's such a terrible film. Like, there's one scene where there's a car chase, and they've literally just filmed cars and then sped it up. like they sped the reel up. It's so funny.
I used to do something similar, trying to find the worst rated film you could possibly find, and that took me a very dark path where I started watching Sharknado 1 to 7. Mosquito Man.
I've never seen Mosquito Man.
Well, spoiler alert for anyone who's going to ever watch it. It was like The Fly, only the man was half mosquito.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It's just awful. Some of these films are just made on a budget of 50 quid.
Yeah, but if you ever get a free half an hour, just watch Samurai Cop. It's the worst film you'll ever watch in your life.
So, all right, hitting one back at you. Go and watch Snakes on a Train. And
Snakes on a Train?
That is not a follow-up, and I haven't made an error there. That is not a podmin. I'm not referring to the Samuel L. Jackson classic, using that term lightly, of Snakes on a Plane. No, this is actual snakes on a train. 200 snakes on a train going 200 miles an hour, and the brakes don't work. Ooh.
Wow. I am literally writing a note to watch this now. So I'm going to watch that and report back for next week. As you are going to watch Samurai Cop.
Have I got to?
Yeah.
I mean, I did, on a lighter note, so me watching that just took me back to the nostalgia feels. I started watching Ghostbusters, started watching a load of old classics, and then today I've sat down and watched Pagemaster with Georgia. You remember that?
No, I've never heard of that.
It's a kid's film, but it was Macaulay Culkin, just after Home Alone infamy. So he was the go-to child actor at the time.
Yeah.
And, just a kid, paranoid about everything, stumbles into a library and then turns into a cartoon character. And then he's got to build up courage and work his way through this dimension.
It does ring a bell. It's a long, long time ago if I've watched it, if I can remember, but it does ring a bell.
I've not seen that for years. And I even threatened to watch Mr. Nanny with Georgia, but we ran out of time. So you've no recommendations then?
No recommendations from me, apart from
Other than Samurai Cop.
Samurai Cop. And that isn't a recommendation. That's just like, just watch it. Maybe take a beer with you in there.
Yeah, I think I might need something stronger than a beer.
Yeah.
You've just not. I mean, I'll take a sherry.
Have you the theme of the week? I'll tell you what we have bought this week, which is a recommendation, I guess.
An electric blanket.
We already have one of them.
Of course you do.
The electric blanket was actually bought for us on Christmas, and I can tell you, it is a fucking lifesaver.
I don't know anybody else under the age of 50 who owns one.
Oh, honestly, no, it's great. It's not like a blanket per se. Well, it is a blanket. It's not like one that you wear for bed. It's like a...
I know what it is.
Yeah, but honestly, it's great. 3 settings, like, brilliant. On the same lines, though, you know, you can get into some serious stuff with Amazon, and they just come in like 3.5 hours or something.
Yeah.
A heated massager. Oh, it's great.
I mean, what the fuck's one of them?
I mean, you can find out on Friday if you want. I will put it on your back. It's literally like a massager it doesn't vibrate. It's not like a sexy thing. It like digs in where it should. It's a proper hard like massage. So if you've been stood up with a baby for 5 or 6 hours or for whatever it was, and you needed like a bit of pressure taken off the back, oh yeah.
See, I do it old school, maybe. At this point, I've got one of those foam rollers, and I just tend to roll on that. Apparently little too hard, by the way, because I did that last week and went upstairs, got in the shower, and then Beck looked at me and went, "Fuck's hit you in the back." I'm like, what do you mean? She went, "Look at it." And there was like these like cubes all over my back where I'd rolled on it and put some serious pressure in.
Oh, I remember going to Becky's dad's for the weekend, and they have, I'm sure it's called a piranha mat or something, and it's literally a bed of plastic nails. There's no
I want one of them. It's acupressure. Yeah. I want one of them.
Them are nice. So yeah,
how fucking old are we? This is it. This is the perfect theme this week. We'll be setting up a QVC channel with shawls, sherry, and heated massage blankets.
Yeah. Do you remember the days when we were at school and we were jumping off squash courts and sliding into the green... what was it called? The green room walls?
Green room, yeah. Taking the big blue mats and seeing how far we could skid down the squash court. What's it called? The viewing gallery upstairs.
Oh, God. I think I'd pull a muscle running up to the mats these days.
My back's aching thinking about it.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so on the topic of this then, let me throw a quick question at you. Knowing now you've got the benefit of hindsight, and obviously you're growing, you're settling in nicely to being a parent. What is one piece of advice that you'd give to 15-year-old Matthew, who is busy running up and down the squash courts on big blue mats? Yeah. And what's one piece of advice that you give to a 20-year-old version of Matthew?
Oh, okay. If I was 15 and if I was thinking about everything, genuinely, I would go back to myself and say, don't put so much pressure on yourself when it comes to like schooling and education. In terms of when we were younger, it was you need to get these amount of grades and then you need to go to the best college, and that's the only other way that you're going to be a success in life. And I think our schooling system, I think, is a little bit different now. But I think our schooling system was very much like you will be a failure if you don't go to university. And I think I will tell myself that doesn't matter. In fact, it doesn't matter at all. I think that's the fairest thing. And I would just calm myself down and I would say, look, don't think and don't go into your life that these qualifications or whatever are going to be the be all and end all, because they're not. Think about something that you really wanted to do and focus on that. That doesn't mean university per se. Very significant thing happened when we were 18, and that for a very long time, and I'm sure it did you, and I know that it did a lot of other people, affected me for quite a few years, and honestly to this day still affects me as well. But like, I was very much in the mindset that I needed to go to a specific university because it was closer to home, because I needed to be around people that I knew. People move on, and that's absolutely fine to move on. So you shouldn't change your life because of that. I'd have probably told myself not to go to uni. I'd have probably said, think of a vocation, think of something that you don't want to stick to. And I guess at 20 or 21, I'd have told myself the opposite. So at 21, I came up to uni. I finished uni. I was thinking about going back to uni, but then I also thought, well, I'm too old now. Like, there's no point me. I'm 21. I'm like, I can't go back to uni now. So at the time, I was going to go back to do a certain specific qualification, and I had an interview to go to a couple of universities. I even went to a couple of universities to do the interview, and then I thought I was wasting another 3 years of my life. So at 20, I would have told myself to go and stop being an idiot, and 21's no age. So that's kind of contradictory. But it's almost like, don't put yourself too much pressure onto whatever happens. You will find your own way. You will become happy. But also, there is no huge rush. Having spent most of my 20s and a little bit of my 30s, I guess, being selfish, for want of a better word, like thinking of me. For a lot of my 20s, I was working for the weekend, really enjoying really enjoying my job, getting a good career. But ultimately, it was financing a lifestyle, which was going out over the weekend, pouring my money into hobbies and blah, 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 which you know what? I still love my hobbies. I would still have a band room and stuff like that. I would still gladly go there for some salvation every now and then. But it's just, and I don't begrudge myself that. And at 21, I can say I could have told myself that it doesn't matter. Things will come, and you will become happy eventually. You've got a long road ahead of you. It's almost like, don't waste time, but also
you've got no time.
Yeah, you've got more time.
Does that
kind of make sense?
Quit school, kids, but actually, no, don't stay in school.
Yeah. No, my point is, it doesn't matter what you do, and it doesn't matter if you go later. I ended up doing a qualification again. I finished it at 32. That qualification is going to be there for the rest of my life. It doesn't matter. It helped me get the job that I have now. Does that make sense? That's a bit long and convoluted, I guess.
I get where you're coming from. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself to be this model that's built up, that you should, this idealistic person, that you should go to the best college, the best university to get the best degrees, and then that will give you the best job. A lot of people I know have got uni degrees and do absolutely fuck all related to that particular degree.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I get it. I mean, education does give you a good platform. I chose that other route in the game of life. I didn't. I left halfway through college, and stupidly, I do regret that, but I don't regret everything that happened to me after that, because that's given me a different type of experience. Rather than a vocational educational experience, then I got a lot of life experience, which to me has become invaluable. So yeah.
But also, I mean, looking back on our life, my life, I spent a lot of my later teens with a massive chip on my shoulder, and I probably didn't deal with some situations in the best way possible. Maybe that was maturity as well. Maybe I was like too immature. Maybe I still am immature. Who knows?
Fucking no, you're not.
Exactly. The ultimate irony is that when you are 18, like, people tell you this, and you tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, you don't listen to them.
Yeah, what is it? What's the saying? Youth is wasted on the young. And you know what? Someone said that to me once, and I thought, what an absolute dickheadish thing to say. But 20 years on it absolutely rings true. Youth is wasted on young people, isn't there? You've got all these like worries going on your head, and it means nothing. Everyone else is fighting a battle, but also it's the one time that you should be like
worry free.
Yeah.
That is the exact message that I try and get across to the kids now. Like, just enjoy, being a kid. Stop trying to rush to grow up. The kids these days are all the same. They're all trying to rush to become older and get more responsibilities, and they want a phone earlier and earlier and things like that. And, just enjoy being a kid, because you're not a kid long. I mean, kids are not our target audience. So at this point, that's a fucking useless comment.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I would give some slightly different advice, like the 15-year-old version of me and you. I would genuinely say, like, live your lives to the extreme. Like, don't give a shit what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
In the sense of, people won't remember half of the shit you do next week, let alone forever. You very much live thinking, oh, I shouldn't dress a certain way, or I shouldn't think a certain way, or do a certain thing because people will take the piss out of me at school. I remember going in school and having a haircut, like an absolute awful haircut of just having a fringe and a skinhead all over.
Oh, yeah.
And got absolutely obliterated as soon as anyone saw me. Fast forward 3 weeks later and everyone's getting the same fucking haircut.
Yeah.
I mean, school's a rough place anyway, but just try and enjoy yourself. But then the 21-year-old version of me is the thing that I didn't do, to save some money.
Yeah, well,
be a bit older, plan for your future, have a plan, but just try and save a bit of money, because that money will become very useful as you get older for buying boilers and shit.
I'm finding that out now. Now, I guess we like our 20s have got in a similar path in terms of moneyness and not being the most adult, but for different reasons, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like your experience of your 20s was far different to mine.
I had kids. You had kidney replacements.
Yeah. Kids need replacements.
That was the pun. Thanks for ruining it. Such a dad.
Sorry. But yeah, so what I'm getting at is that really Beck kind of changed your life, didn't she? In terms of, like, she got you on a
straight and narrow path.
Yeah, she got you on the straight and narrow, and Becky's done exactly the same to me. We've sat down, we've made some plans, we've done it, and every day is a struggle, but there's always that end goal. I mean, we talked about it last week or a couple of weeks ago, is that things are going in the right direction, and sometimes it's not easy to see in the present, but looking back on things always helps. Like, you can see which direction you're going.
Has anyone got a flux capacitor?
We wouldn't change it though, would we? We wouldn't change it. I couldn't go back to being 26, and
I wouldn't, but I swear life would have been so much easier if I had that fucking sports almanac.
Yeah.
Before we get out your ears, I just want to give a big shout out to our winner. So obviously we've been running a competition at this point a couple of weeks ago, but we've been running a competition on Instagram, and what we said was, we did this last year and it was a huge hit where we gave away some brownies. And this time what we said was, once we get to 1,000 followers on Instagram, we would run another competition. That happened, which, for everyone who's following us, thank you very much. But yeah, we ran the competition. We was going to give away some chocolates. And we drew a winner. We drew a winner last week. If you want to go and find it somewhere in all of our posts, because it will be in there. But yeah, we did a nice little video of me and Matt. And we want to announce the winner, which is Tammy's Nuts, and give her a little bit of a shout out on here. So
yeah, congratulations, Tam. Thank you everyone that entered. What I would say is that it got a little ridiculous at one point. It was like 600 people that had entered. So thank you for everyone that. I mean, when we first started, we expected like 20-30 people might listen to this, and then that'll be up. But it's starting to, in our terms, I guess, blow up a little bit, and which is really nice. It's nice that people are so positive, and we're trying our best, and we'll continue doing it. But everyone that entered the competition, thank you. Everyone that followed the rules and entered the competition, thank you even more. no mention to a certain person that wanted to enter a competition and didn't follow the rules.
Terrence?
That maybe.
I had no idea. But yeah, just saying, yes, me please, is not the way to enter. I will set that up separately.
Yeah. Yeah, you know who you are. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening. We've got a few good topics coming up in the next few weeks. I hope you continue to listen to them. I think we've got a special next week.
Yeah, we're planning on bringing you something special. We'll not give too much away, but the girls will likely be involved. Yeah. So that will be worth a bit of a listen. And yeah, again, echoing what you've just said then, thanks for everyone who has followed us on all of our socials, who does continue to listen to us. You know, some weeks we do, we find we are a little bit funnier, a bit more free balling, and some weeks like this week, you know, it's probably a little bit more serious because we're addressing some serious topics, but we try and hit a good mix of serious and funny.
Yeah.
So thanks for keep listening, and from me, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.